Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Simon here, coming from a very sunny Portugal today, and I wanted to bring you an update on the crypto markets, taking a look at the Bitcoin price, and also to talk about some of the narratives that I expect to do well over the next year, and some tokens that I currently have on my watch list that I'm starting to position into, and I'm looking to position into more over the next few months. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, please stay tuned, smash a like, subscribe. Let's get into it. So looking at the Bitcoin price, we can see that Bitcoin is still consolidating at the moment. We seem to be in a bit of a range, called the low of the range, around about 28.5, and the upper side of the range around about 30,000. So I think once we remain in this range, we could really go either way. I think a close above the 30,000 level will then see us launch another attack on our highs. Obviously, a close under this 28.5 level would see us lightly come down to support here, and we've got a couple of ascending trend lines that I think will provide support, along with the 200-day moving average, which is fast rising. So depending on the time we actually get down here, we've got a couple of targets. We could be around about 28,000 all the way down to, call it, sort of 26.5 to 27,000. And that's where, to be honest, I think price has a fairly good chance of going if we continue to slide, and certainly if stock markets continue to correct as well. I think in general the stock markets do like to correct around about sort of September, October time. So it could be that Bitcoin does come down, but if we actually look at the Nasdaq and just see what that's been doing, obviously stocks have had this this push lower over the last couple of days. So we actually see, this was, I think, on Wednesday, stock markets really had a quite a sharp sell-off. We saw that in the S&P as well. Bitcoin, however, has managed to remain relatively strong, so that's an encouraging sign. If we actually go over to the weekly chart as well, we can actually see that Bitcoin is very much continues to test this 30K level. And we can also see here that what is fairly encouraging is that Bitcoin is currently holding this 20-week moving average support. And we also have just below that, coming in around the rest of our support, around this 27.5 range at the moment, is the 200-week moving average. So, you know, providing Bitcoin can find support either here, or if it does come a little bit lower, around that 27.5 to 28,000 level that we have said should be support with these ascending trend lines, then Bitcoin should look good to continue to push on with its upward momentum. Obviously, if this support is lost, then I do see a move down to around the 25,000 level initially. We've obviously got this support, which was resistance, has now been flipped to support. Really, we'd want to see Bitcoin hold that level without any major closes below that, or else we could open up the door to coming all the way down to around sort of 20,000. And we wouldn't want that to happen. So yeah, for now, Bitcoin seems to be looking okay. I just wanted to also throw on the Gaussian channel on the weekly as well, so we can see that right now Bitcoin is holding the upside of this Gaussian channel, and this is an encouraging sign. If we actually look back at the history of Bitcoin, we can see that when we hold the upside of this Gaussian channel, as we did back in 2019, we actually got a really nice upside move off the back of it. Again, we held it at the start of our bull run, or should we say at the I guess not the start of the bull run, but fairly close to what was our parabolic explosive move back in 2020. And you can see that when Bitcoin does hold the top of this Gaussian channel, it usually spells good things. We also held it again back in 2021 before making our all-time high. And if we look even further back, we can see similar things have sort of happened in the past, back in sort of 2016, before the 2017 high. So yeah, the Gaussian channel, you know, it's important to hold that when we do sort of start closing into it. We normally come down to the bottom of it, and we can see that happening here and also here. So we really don't want to see us closing back in to the Gaussian channel. If we were to, then that will give us a target back down to around about that 20,000 level, which is why I do think it's important that we at least close weeklies above this weekly Gaussian channel. Obviously, if we were to come into it and wick down maybe to around that 27.5, 28,000 level, to the 200-week moving average, and then push back up to close back above the Gaussian channel, potentially we could, you know, avert that situation. So, you know, if price did continue to drift lower, then we would really want to see the bull step in and defend that level. So yeah, that's really it for the Bitcoin updates. And next, I did want to talk about some of the crypto narratives that I think are really going to take off over the next few months and going into the next bull cycle. One of those is the meme coin narrative. I've already done a video about some of the meme coins that I'm into myself. Things like Pepe, obviously, have exploded really in what has been a sort of like the bear market, as hit a 500 million market cap. And other meme coins have emerged. One I've talked about in my other video was Wojak, also Bogo. So I did want to take a little look at some of these meme coins, just to give you a bit of a perspective as to where some of these are likely to go. And what I really wanted to do is look at those meme coins that we currently recognize as being the big sort of players in the space. So we'll start by taking a look at Dogecoin, and then we will take a look at Shiba Inu as well, just to kind of see what they've done in the last market cycle, and to give us some sort of idea of where we could go in the next cycle with some of the new meme coins, such as Pepe. Let's just wait for the chart to load. Like, obviously at the moment, the market cap for Dogecoin is around 10 billion. And obviously if something like a Shiba Inu at 500 million went up to 10 billion, then we're looking at a 20x. So we can say, okay, potentially, if Pepe was to be able to replicate what Doge has done, then we could be looking at some nice upside. But that, I don't think, is really a like-for-like comparison, only because we actually need to look at what Dogecoin did in the last bull market. So if we just look at what Dogecoin did early 2021, we can see that Dogecoin went all the way up to a nearly 89 billion market cap. So, and you know, if Pepe was to do something like that, you're talking about like nearly a 200x. So that's why I think, and let's just take a look at Shiba as well to give some comparison. Obviously, you can turn around and say, oh, well, Dogecoin was being pumped by Elon Musk and everybody was getting into crypto for Dogecoin. But remember, Shiba did it without Elon. So if we look at, you know, what Shiba did, like even Shiba got all the way up. That's on the price. Let's just switch to the market cap. So here we go. Even Shiba went all the way up to 40 billion. And I think it actually went even higher if we just zoom in on that level. Yeah, so pretty much, yeah, 41 billion market cap. I thought we went up to 50, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was 40. So we can kind of see there, like it wasn't only Dogecoin, like Shiba Inu also went on an absolutely crazy run, and then we obviously got our Pepe token here. I think it's around, yeah, it's around 80, just gone past it. We got Pepe here, which obviously is currently at 500 million. So what I'm really trying to say is that I feel that Pepe has a lot of upside in the next cycle. If this was to, you know, just really get to a fraction, I mean, for this to do, say for example, a 50x, it would just have to get to 25 billion. I know just 25 billion. That's a huge market cap. Obviously, at today's valuations, a 25 billion market cap would put Pepe as literally the number 7 cryptocurrency. Obviously, you know, behind Bitcoin, Ethereum, obviously the 2 biggest stable coins, BNB and XRP. So, but then again, we got Dogecoin that's currently number 8, and we've seen it happen before in bull markets. I'm not saying that Pepe is likely to stay there. I'm not saying it will be a sustainable 25 billion market cap, but you can see it happening. Like, I don't think there's been a meme coin that has been better embraced in the crypto community than Pepe has. So I'm not saying go out today and you know, throw all your money into Pepe. And again, this is not financial advice, so please don't listen to me. But me personally, I am, you know, I've got it on my watch list. It is a crypto that I'm looking to accumulate over the next, let's say, you know, 6 months ahead of the Bitcoin halving. And I think, you know, Bitcoin is still the best asset to be investing into today. And then outside of that, Ethereum. But we are looking beyond Bitcoin and Ethereum, and we are saying to ourselves, what can give us that alpha in the next cycle to actually outperform Bitcoin and Ethereum? And one of those coins I definitely think is Pepe. And if we just look at our categories and maybe look at some of the other meme coins, again, I have done a video already on the meme coins, but I will just quickly look at these again, just to update what we talked about before. We can see that we've obviously got Doge, Shiba, and then we've got Pepe. So yeah, I do expect this to change in the next market cycle, and I do expect Pepe to have more upside. Obviously, if we're looking at the market cap, like we see with Shiba Inu, like the fully diluted value, like it's not even all the Shiba is actually on the market. So you do have more supply to come onto the market, which makes me a lot more bullish on Pepe than I am on Shiba. Remember, also Shiba is going to have a lot of bag holders as well. So, you know, this is another thing to bear in mind. If we look at Shiba Inu, obviously we're well off our highs in terms of price. We just scroll down here, we can see we're still at a 90% loss. And then something like Pepe, if we actually pull this up, we'll be able to compare how much Pepe is down from its all-time high. But I think it's probably closer to maybe 60 or 70%. Yeah, about 70%. But obviously it wasn't around the last bull cycle, so there's just not going to be the same number of bag holders. So that's something else you have to bear in mind. So yeah, I think the newer crypto memes are likely to have a better run just for that reason. There will be less people looking to get out of offside positions, less people to try to take their initial investment out and get flat. And again, if we kind of go down some of these, the other ones I talked about before, one of them was Wojak. So Wojak, I mean the market cap at 7.5 million is pretty tiny compared to some of the other memes out there. I think that it's you know, a 10x should be, I think, a walk in the park for something like Wojak. Going up to 75 million should be a done deal. I actually think it could go into the billions as well, and that would obviously be 100x on Wojak. So yeah, I think it's a very strong meme. Bob as well is one that I spoke about before. It's obviously come off a lot due to Elon banning the Bob bot off Twitter, or now X. So Bob's another one that I think could do very well, only 5 million market cap. And also, I can't sit here, but Bobo as well, I spoke about before, that I think it'd do quite well. I mean, some of these memes are a little bit stupid, but I just think that based on what we've seen before with Doge and Sheeb in the last cycle, there's absolutely no way that you can ignore some of these meme coins. So they're one of the categories, and they're some of the coins I've got my eye on. Also, the other coins I've really got my eye on, and we'll go to the categories again before actually looking at the charts for some of these, is metaverse and gaming. So if we just kind of run down here, let's see, I'm pretty sure, like if we look at maybe GameFi, should give us some of the tokens that I'm personally looking at investing in. I mean, this is an area that's been spoken about quite a lot. I know that Alex Becker and some of the other sort of big influencers have been talking about gaming. I think Cameron Foose as well spoke about it. So there's some big traders that are obviously looking at the gaming space. Me personally, I like the look of some of these. Less so internet computer, very centralized projects. Some things like sort of Sandbox, I think will do well, but I'm not sure whether in the long term it's going to be the winner in terms of the metaverse. And I just think at this market cap, there are probably better plays if you did want to speculate on that. Immutable X is a token that I have started to accumulate as a layer 2. So recently, due to the multi-chain hack on Phantom, I came out of Phantom. I was looking for another sort of layer 1 or layer 2 to actually get exposure to. I decided on Immutable X, which is an Ethereum layer 2. So it's obviously focused on gaming specifically, which I think is going to be a really big growth sector. So I expect Immutable X to do very, very well. Axie Infinity, I just think, again, at the market cap, it's probably a bit large. GALA. So GALA is a gaming studio that I've decided to get some exposure to. So I do like GALA. They really seem to be at the forefront of coming out with games. They've also got GALA Film now as well. So I think GALA will do quite well. Engine as well is well into the NFT and gaming space. Illuvium, another game which I don't even know if it's launched yet, but yeah, it's another one that I quite like, that I've picked up a bit of. And really kind of going down this list, I mean, there's other ones here that I think have big potential. Things like Vulcan Forged, Ultra as well, which has kind of been dubbed the Steam of games, which is another sort of games house, game provider. Veracity too. And I mean, you know, the market cap of some of these down at sort of like 48 million, starting to look pretty cheap. But the thing you also have to look at is the fully diluted value. So with something like Veracity, there are high emissions, and therefore the FDV is up at over 500 million. But yeah, I do think a lot of these will do very well in the next bull run. Nakamoto Games, Altura, and there's several others there as well. So that is an area that I am interested in, and that I'm definitely looking at. So yeah, and again, it's an area that I think if you're looking for that alpha to outperform just Bitcoin and Ethereum, then this sector for me should do that. It's really just about timing it. And like I say, at the moment, I still think it's the time to be in Bitcoin and Ethereum primarily. But I do think as we come into the end of this year and start of next year, that's the time when I expect these tokens to start to bottom out against their Ethereum and Bitcoin pairings. And that's when I expect these are going to be the sorts of projects that you're really going to want to have exposure to, just because that's where the fastest gains are going to be had after Bitcoin's gone through its halving and as retail comes back into the market. So let's just take a look at the charts for a couple of these. So as we spoke upon, we've got a few on my watch list here. This is VRA. As we can see, like massive run in the last cycle. It's currently down, I want to say it looks like over 95%, but it's 94%. So we can see here we've got a pretty massive multiple to go back to our all-time highs. You know, I mean, we're looking at nearly 2,000%. It's yeah, some of these are really sold off. GALA as well seems to have found a low. I mean, most of these seem to have bottomed at the end of last year when Bitcoin did. VRA similar, yeah. And in my experience, in the last bull run, or should I say, not the last bull run, but the last bear market, the strongest altcoins that performed the best in the next bull run actually bottomed when Bitcoin did at the end of 2018. So fast forward 4 years, the strongest altcoins seem to have bottomed around the end of 2022. If we look at, for example, Solana as well, I think this is one that also bottomed at the end of 2022. So you can see, you know, that's fairly strong. If we look at something maybe such as DOT, we can see it's put in a double bottom, so not quite as strong. Matic actually bottomed even earlier, so that one is very strong. And you can actually have a look through some more of these. I'm trying to find one that might have made a low. So it looks like ADA actually did make a new low. However, it held it as support, so you can kind of call that a double bottom as well. Maybe something like Tezos. Yeah, it's sort of they are double bottoms. Obviously, it remains to be seen if these coins will go lower. But I think those coins that are kind of, you know, bottomed and then made a sort of strong sort of higher low, such as your VRAs, your GALAs, some of your meta tokens are the ones that I want to be positioned into. Obviously, Solana as well. So just to talk on Solana, in terms of being a asset that I think can outperform Bitcoin and Ethereum, I think Solana absolutely can. We saw, you know, Solana get absolutely destroyed at the end of last year with the FTX collapse. And obviously for me, you know, this was a lot of forced selling. Solana really got pushed to prices that I don't think it would have seen if not for FTX going down, and not for the all the forced selling and all the FUD and all the panic and fear, and we haven't retested those lows. We've actually come down to around about sort of $13 or just above, just to test the kind of like the resistance of this accumulation, held that as support, and now we came up and we've actually made a new high relative to the accumulation earlier this year, which we then dipped below and we've now pushed above again. So Solana's looking fairly constructive, and I do think Solana's one that will turn around and do quite well. And then, yeah, just looking at a couple of the other meta tokens that I sort of touched on before, we can just see things like Vulcan Forged in a accumulation range. We've got Wild as well. That's Metaverse, which seems to be off its lows and actually seems to have sort of held from its lows. And again, you can see like massive multiples for these some of these gaming and meta tokens to go back to their all-time highs again, around about 2,000% for Wild. So yeah, looking at some pretty big gains to be had in the meta space if that does turn around. So yeah, I think those are my main thoughts really in terms of what I'm looking to buy and accumulate over the next few months. And nothing else really to add. So I think I will wrap it up there. Like I say, if you have enjoyed this video, please do like, share, subscribe, help support the channel. It really helps me out as I'm trying to grow. And I'll be back with you for more content very soon.